Welcome back. We're covering the 19th bullet point of the new series, Blockchain, Crypto, DeFi at Work, Keep or Get a Job the Next 20 Years. In the first several of these, we're just covering some basic information to help you understand the different lingo that's out there that you may or may not be hearing or that you may hear as you start to investigate this more. But before we get started, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, and click the alert button so that you can be alerted to any new content that comes your way, especially with this series. I think that it's really good to consider, if you feel like your job's in jeopardy or if you're looking at concern that about the viability of your job or position long term, maybe there's a new opportunity for you that's coming up. And while it's still early enough for you to kind of pivot. So I also have another playlist, and it's from other people on YouTube, content creators that cover a lot of different crypto information, and it's really good that I think you can listen to. It's not just me, and it's going to give you way more in-depth information about it. This is really more of a high-level, introductory to what the different verbiage is that you're going to hear, the definitions, and what this whole thing is about, and really on a high level. I don't want to get too deep in terms of what the stuff means, but hopefully it'll spur you on and encourage you to check out more information about it. All right. So what is cryptocurrency or crypto? I'm sure you've heard those two. They're both interchangeable. There's something called tokens and coins. And so I'm just going to read through some definitions, and I'm going to stop and kind of do the same thing I did with video number 20, which you can also click that playlist in the description as well. A cryptocurrency or cryptocurrency, if you want to just break the word out and not run it together, or crypto for short, is basically a digital asset designed to work with a medium, work as a medium of exchange where individual coin ownership or token ownership records are stored in a ledger. We talked about that in the last video, existing in the form of computerized database using strong cryptography to secure transaction records, to control the creation of additional coins, and to verify the transfer of coin ownership. All right, so again, there's a lot that's being said there, so let me just break it down. In the last video, I'm not going to go through that again, but we covered, what blockchain was, right? And that's kind of what that ledger is, and we'll go into more definition of that later, right? But I gave you the example of when you go and deposit money at the bank, you're given a receipt, which is a record, right? And that money that you deposit may be in the form of a check or cash, or if you have a pocket full of change, you want to deposit that, there's record of that, right? Timestamp on it. So basically, a digital asset, right, is either going to be a token or a coin. And we covered a little bit last time, Bitcoin, right? And there's other, a ton of other coins out there. You need to really be careful about what you invest into. There's Ethereum, there's XRP, there's all kinds of digital assets that are out there, tokens or coins, right? And I'll give you an example that'll help bring this home to you in terms of what this looks like, right? And it's all being stored, and that's what this is. The tokens and coins are the piece of the ledger, right, that we covered, that's being tracked. That's where the store of value that we're talking about, or the medium of exchange that we're talking about here. All right. It typically does not exist in physical form. And so you see all those graphics out there that have like the gold, graphics of Bitcoin or Ethereum or XRP. They don't exist. Anybody that tries to sell you those, they're not selling you anything worth value. If somebody tries to sell you a Bitcoin for $2,000 and tells you that it's worth $31,000, $32,000, don't fall for it. Those things, there's no physical currency attached to it. So it just does not exist. Cryptocurrencies typically use decentralized control and is as opposed to centralized digital currency and central banking systems, right? I'll cover that in a second. When a cryptocurrency is minted or created prior to issuance or issued by a single user, it is generally considered centralized. When implemented and decentralized control, with decentralized control, each cryptocurrency works through a distributed ledger, which we talked about last video, technology, typically a blockchain, we covered that serves as a public financial transaction database. It's public. You can see all the transactions that take place. So again, but decentralized means that it's not under the purview or control of a banking system or central banking system, which all banks fall under the central banking systems. Ours happens to be the Federal Reserve, which is not a government entity, by the way. You can do your research on that. Again, Bitcoin was first released back in 2009. We covered that in the last video as well. But I want to just bring this home a little bit in terms of helping you understand the difference between a token and a coin, right? They each hold value. But I want you to think about it this. If you're a child or grew up in the 80s, even early 90s, and spent any time in an arcade, you spent probably dropped a lot of quarters in the video games, right? Playing Miss Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, Space Invaders, whatever that looks like, and you would you either go to a bowling alley or to the skating rink, whatever that looked like, or just a regular arcade, and you just drop quarter after quarter trying to get that high score to leave your three-letter initial on that high score, right? And so, by the way, Galaga's my top one, and you'd be hard pressed to beat me even still, I think. So I digress. So anyway, what happened is as these arcades, started to grow, they started getting smart and making their own tokens, right? So that they could maybe incent you to come over, and instead of spending $1 for 4 quarters, they invented their own tokens, right? Same thing, it still held value, but you could get 5 tokens for $1. So you basically are getting 5 plays for $1. Now they also got back at you by doubling up the cost of some of the newer video games as well, right? But again, each one had value. You couldn't take that token out and spend it, on the street, but it still held value, right? Same thing in Vegas. They have different chips that, each individual casino has their own chips. So anyway, that's basically what a token and a coin are. They're basically the same things. They both will spend similarly. They each have different value because there's different uses for each of them and each of the technologies as well, but we'll get into that. But that's basically the difference between the two. So we're going to wrap this up. And again, want to encourage you to hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, and click the alert button so that you're notified. And feel free to share this with anybody that could use this. And then also I'll check out the playlist for this video series, as well as the cryptocurrency series that I have from other content creators on YouTube. Thanks again for joining. We'll talk to you on the next video.